Driving under adverse weather conditions for school bus drivers. What kind of weather causes each of the following conditions? Slippery roads, limited visibility, vehicle control problems, extreme temperatures, and catastrophic conditions. You will be able to anticipate each kind of weather and describe what to do in each particular kind of weather if the weather can't be avoided. You will notice 2 points are repeated throughout this course: slow down and increase your following distance. What you should do before you drive and what you should do on your route. Your first preference is always to avoid an adverse weather situation. We will be talking today about what to do if you can't avoid one. We will also be talking specifically about those situations where you have to decide what to do. The purpose of this course is to review the process for making decisions in a variety of weather conditions. Regardless of the weather condition, there are certain things you should always do before you head out on your route. Conduct a pre-trip inspection, make sure all your equipment is in good working order. Check road and weather conditions. Plan for the unexpected. You should always anticipate that despite your best preparations, something could go wrong. For example, an unexpected storm could develop, or you could have a mechanical trouble and be on the road longer than you had planned. Remember that you are not in your own car. A school bus handles and responds very differently than a car. You must apply different driving rules when you are in a bus. Always have an emergency plan. You should know what to do in the event of an emergency. You should know how to evacuate your bus and know when it is necessary to do so. Please listen to this brief video.
Every school year, the same story unfolds. Students come back to school from summer vacation and begin another year of learning. Teachers are scrambling to get their curriculum in order. Parents are getting a well-deserved break, and bus drivers are preparing to safely transport their young riders. And just as the routine of going back to school stays the same, so does the extreme weather that comes with the changing seasons. Pounding rainstorms, wet slippery roads, high winds, and extremely dense fog. This makes driving a school bus quite a challenge. In this video, we're going to cover these challenges. We will give bus drivers helpful hints and innovative techniques that can be used when driving in extreme weather conditions. The video will be broken down into the following sections. When driving in rainy, foggy, or windy conditions, keep in mind the importance of the pre-trip inspection and proper vehicle maintenance. Whenever conditions look like this, you need to make sure everything on the bus is working properly. This could save you from a serious accident. Consider what the outcome would be if you didn't check everything during the pre-trip. Let's say you skipped checking the windshield wipers. It starts raining extremely hard during your bus route. You go to turn on your windshield wipers, they don't work. The result is a dangerous situation. Now, not only are you driving in dangerous conditions from water on the roadway, but you're practically driving blind due to the water on the windshield. And of course, if you cannot see what is in front of you, the chance for an accident greatly increases. These types of things can and do happen. That is why you should not become complacent. Make sure you take the pre-trip inspection and any vehicle maintenance seriously. The windshield wipers on the bus must be in good condition. Make sure the wiper blades press against the windshield hard enough to effectively wipe away rain. Also, take the time to check the windshield wiper reservoir and make sure it works and is full. And if your windshield wipers cause streaks or smears, the blades must be replaced immediately. In addition to checking the windshield wipers, be sure to check the bus's defrosting and heating equipment. Check and make sure they both work properly and that you know how to safely operate them. And check all of the vents for the defroster to make sure no part of the windshield will fog up while driving. Make sure all windows and mirrors are cleared of debris and cleaned before driving. And of course, be sure that your mirrors are properly adjusted. Lights, reflectors, and turn signals are particularly important during bad weather. Be sure all turn signals, reflectors, and lights on the bus are in good working condition. If the bus is equipped with fog or strobe lights, make sure they are working and are clean of any debris. Check all of your lights and reflectors often and make sure they are clean and free of debris. Do a thorough brake check on the bus and make sure all tires are properly inflated with no bulges or defects present. Check all lug nuts and make sure they are present and tightened. Take the time to check the tread on your tires. Tires must provide traction to safely drive over wet pavement. Be sure you have sufficient tread on the tires with at least 4 32 inch tread depth in every major groove of the front tire and 2 32 of an inch on other tires. Also check the interior lights of the bus and make sure all toggle switches are working. If you have any questions or concerns about the tires, wipers, or any other safety issues concerning your bus, be sure to bring it up to your supervisor or have a mechanic take a look.
On your route, there is one very important rule: slow down. This is the most important thing to remember when driving in adverse weather conditions. There are 2 more reminders that apply to all adverse weather conditions. When you are in a difficult driving situation, let your students know. Tell them that you need their cooperation and ask them to be quiet and to behave. Remind your students to stand further back from the road when waiting for the school bus. Before we talk about weather situations, we'll review some general driving conditions that are affected in slippery weather. So what can make a road slippery? Mud, rain, snow, ice, wet leaves, hailstorms, sleet, sand, or gravel. The type of road surface affects the impact of the weather. Asphalt is more slippery than concrete when it rains because it contains petroleum. Concrete tends to be less slippery than asphalt in rain and light snow. This is especially true when it hasn't rained for a while. Ice forms more slowly on gravel concrete than on asphalt or concrete. Gravel and dirt roads can change to mud after rain or snow melts. Dry sand on roads reduces traction and can cause the school bus to slide or skid. In addition to road surface, you need to watch the road contours while driving in slippery weather. You should watch for the following: a high crown or a crest, the banking on the road, curves in the road, soft shoulder, road edges, potholes, and frost heaves. There are certain kinds of weather-related equipment that might be needed on your school bus. Strobe lights are small, flashing white or yellow lights on top of the school bus, usually near the rear. They are activated by the driver when needed or required. Fulton County policy states they should only be used in adverse weather. The way a driver dresses in winter could affect the operation of their school bus. Wear layered clothing which can be removed or reapplied instead of a big bulky coat that can resist movement. Sunglasses are important year-round. It can reduce sunlight or glare. Wear gloves with leather or suede palms since they grip the steering wheel better. Wool gloves are slippery when wet. Wear insulated socks and winter shoes. Cold feet feel numb. This affects foot movement and how you drive the bus. Avoid heavy boots. It is hard to move them quickly from the gas pedal to the brake pedal. There are several things you should know about the braking system on your school bus. Anti-lock brakes uses wheel speed sensors to identify when a wheel is locking. If the anti-lock brake senses that a wheel is locking, it automatically applies and releases the brake several times per second to prevent the wheel from locking. Because of the sensors, you should not pump anti-lock brakes. You simply apply steady and continuous pressure. With anti-lock brakes, no matter how hard the pedal is pressed, each wheel is prevented from locking up. This prevents skidding and allows the driver to steer while stopping on slippery surfaces. However, this does not create a situation of steering as usual. In snow or ice, your steering will be impaired. You still need to allow a greater following distance with the anti-lock brakes. Brake fade is the reduced ability of your brakes to do their job. Brake fade is a temporary condition caused by high temperatures generated by repeated or continuous hard braking. It occurs when the brake pads or shoe glaze due to the great pressure and heat of hard use. Once the brake pads cool, the condition subsides. To avoid brake fade while slowing down, first gear down before you get to an incline or a situation where you need to stop. On an incline, use your transmission to slow the bus. Engine compression through your transmission is your first source of braking power. Descend a long, steep grade in a low gear than you would that you needed to climb that hill. If the school bus is loaded, use an even lower gear. Finally, check the tread on your tires to make sure you have a safe amount of tread and that the tires are not wearing unevenly. Adverse weather has been grouped into 5 types of conditions: slippery roads, limited visibility, vehicle control problems, extreme temperatures, and catastrophic conditions. For each condition, we'll discuss what causes the condition, what you should know about the condition, and how to handle the condition. We'll also discuss what makes a road slippery, how ice is different from mud, and how you should handle each one. The first slippery road condition we're going to talk about is mud. When we're talking about mud, we aren't talking about some wet dirt on a paved road. We're talking about a non-paved road that is virtually impassable due to mud, or a paved road when excessive mud is present due to poor drainage or construction sites. On your route, avoid mud if possible. Anticipate it. Look for it. If you can't avoid the mud, keep going. Keep your speed steady. Don't slow down. Keep your tires straight. Don't make quick corrections or overcorrect. Stay on the crest of the road and keep a firm grip on the steering wheel. By continuing to move in a steady pace, you are floating on top of the mud and won't sink in. When you are through the mud, check your lights to make sure they are clean. So when should you anticipate mud on a dirt or a gravel road? After heavy rain, after the snow melts, or after a major thaw. The second slippery condition we're going to talk about is rain. The first 10 minutes after light rain begins are the most dangerous. The rain mixes with oil on the ground from motor vehicles and the oil from new asphalt. The result is a slippery roadway. If it rains hard and long enough, the rain washes off the oil and the slippery conditions are reduced. If it rains heavily, there can be moving and or standing water on the roadway. This creates a situation where hydroplaning is possible. Hydroplaning can happen at speeds as low as 30 miles per hour if there is a lot of water. Rushing equals higher risk. When your school bus hydroplanes, the tires lose contact with the road and you have little or no traction. You may not be able to steer or brake. In severe rain, you should reduce your speed by half. A school bus will seldom hydroplane because of its weight. One reason it may hydroplane is if you are going too fast. Before you drive, check your tires. Keep the pressure at the recommended level. Check to make sure that you have proper tread depth, a minimum of 432 on the front and 232 on rear tires. Check that your windshield wipers are working properly and that your blades make proper contact with the windshield. Check that you have plenty of washer fluid and the window defrosters are working properly. The third slippery condition we're going to talk about is ice. Ice can come from sleet, which is raindrops that freeze into pellets before reaching the ground. Sleet usually bounces and does not stick. Sleet can accumulate like snow, just as ice can from various sources. There are different kinds of icing conditions: black ice, glazed ice, melting ice, or frozen ice. On your route, if you suspect icing conditions, slow down gradually. Avoid aggressive braking or steering. Turn on your strobe lights and four-way flashers. Double your following distance. The last slippery condition is snow. There are different types of snow and snowy conditions. Types of snow are flurries, showers, normal snowfall, lake effect, heavy, blowing, drifting, and blizzards. You should anticipate additional problems driving in snow as the snow deepens, when the snow mixes with wind, when the snow falls on top of previous snow or ice, when traffic picks up, when temperatures are near freezing, or when temperatures warm. Do a very careful pre-trip inspection. Check that your windshield wipers are working properly and that you have plenty of washer fluid. Check that your window frosters are working properly. On your route, slow down gradually. Avoid aggressive braking or steering. Turn on your strobe lights and your four-way flashers. Double your following distance. Anticipate limited visibility. Now we'll move on to the second set of conditions, limited visibility. Limited visibility means you cannot see easily around you, in front of you, or beside your school bus. Weather circumstances that can limit your visibility are fog, smoke, dusk, snow, rain, sunlight, dawn, dusk, and dark. When visibility is impaired, turn on your lights. Establish and maintain a safe following distance. You need to maintain a 4-second following distance at speed of 40 miles per hour or less. If you can only measure 2 seconds, slow down. If you can only see 15 feet or less, pull over and stop. You never drive at a speed where your stopping distance exceeds your visibility distance. If you can only see 200 feet ahead and it takes you 300 feet to stop, you will be unable to stop in the time if something is blocking your travel lane. The third set of conditions is vehicle control problems and how to handle the school bus in windy situations. Strong winds may affect the handling of the school bus by making it hard to steer and hard to keep the school bus on the road or within a travel lane on the road. The side of a school bus acts like a sail on a sailboat. Strong winds can push the school bus side to side. They can even move the bus off the road. In extreme conditions, tip it over. Expect strong winds in rain and thunderstorms, in dust storms and blizzards, and when the cold front approaches. On your route, if you're caught in a strong wind, keep a firm grip on the steering wheel. Anticipate gusts. Either slow down to lessen the effect of the wind on the bus or pull off the road and wait. Extreme temperatures include both heat and cold. Extreme heat causes a problem when the temperature and the humidity combines to create a high heat indices. This makes hot weather seem hotter. So how to respond to extreme heat? Open the windows, the doors, and the roof vents. Turn on your fans. Allow your students to drink water. Extreme cold. Dangerous cold occurs in two situations: when there's actual temperatures below freezing, When the low temperature and cooling effect of the wind combines to create a wind chill, this makes cold weather seem colder. Before you drive, be sure to warm the school bus up thoroughly to avoid stalls. The last set of adverse weather conditions is catastrophics. Catastrophics are those situations that occur occasionally without much warning and require a particular and immediate response from a school bus driver. Other than hurricanes and volcanoes, what would constitute a catastrophic weather situation? Flooding and flash floods, lightning, and tornadoes. Watch for flooding conditions anytime there's been a heavy rain or snow melt, even in places where water doesn't usually accumulate. Lightning can occur within a rainstorm or when there's no rain. Lightning can also strike miles from the storm. Chances of lightning hitting a bus are slim. It is safer inside a vehicle than outside. Or a tornado is a violently rotating column of air in contact with the ground and moving. Tornadoes develop in warm and moist air in advance of eastward moving cold front. The danger of a tornado is highest when the temperature is between 65 and 84 and the dew point is above 50. Where possible, an adverse weather situation should be avoided. If the situation can be avoided, slow down and increase your following distance. In adverse weather, avoid aggressive braking or steering. Turn on your strobe lights and four-way flashers. Always practice defensive driving.